On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Poetry.
Poems in general as a genre of literature.
Examples:
Modern poetry. Book of poetry. Different cultures have different comfortable word rhythms, so the composition of poetry varies greatly.
Rhythm.
A strong regular repeated pattern of sounds, words, or musical notes that are used in music, poetry, and dancing.
Examples:
In samba rhythm. Irregular heart rhythm. He beat out a jazz rhythm on the cajones.
Metaphor.
A figure of speech in which an expression is used to refer to something that it does not denote to suggest a similarity.
Examples:
Metaphor for death. Visual metaphor. She expressed her thought in an artful choice of metaphors.
Imagery.
The use of words or pictures in books, photographs, paintings, etc., that produces pictures in the minds of people, the ability to form mental images of things or events.
Examples:
Visual imagery. Satellite imagery. This movie is famous for its romantic imagery.
Essence.
The basic or most important part or quality of something that makes it what it is.
Examples:
Vanilla essence. Universal essence. University teaches the art of understanding the essence of the matter.
Communicate.
To share or exchange information with others by speaking, writing, moving your body, or using other signals.
Examples:
Communicate his anxieties to the psychiatrist. Communicate well with my advisor. Dolphins use sound to communicate with each other.
Discipline.
The practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior, using and punishments if these are broken, a region of activity, knowledge, or influence.
Examples:
Break discipline. Rigid discipline. He quickly learned the military discipline.
Distillation.
The process of purifying or separating components from a liquid mixture by heating and cooling, typically by using a distillation apparatus, the concentration or essence of something.
Examples:
Steam distillation. Alcohol distillation. The process of distillation is used to purify water and other substances.
Poem.
A piece of writing that emphasizes the expression of feelings and ideas by paying particular attention to diction, sometimes rhyme, rhythm, and imagery.
Examples:
A narrative poem. Poem to the dead. A great poem is a fountain forever overflowing with the waters of wisdom and delight.
Diagnose.
To determine or distinguish the nature of a problem or an illness through a careful analysis.
Examples:
Diagnose the problem. Diagnose with CT scans. This device is used to diagnose brain cancer and other tumors.
Disease:
A disorder or illness that affects the body or mind, often characterized by specific symptoms or abnormal functioning of organs or systems.
Examples:
Disease prevention. Disease control. The doctor diagnosed him with a rare disease that had no known cure.
Advance:
To go or move forward, to develop in a positive way.
Examples:
Advance the technology. Advance a cooperative relationship. Scientific knowledge will advance significantly with the power of AI.
Impressive:
Arousing admiration due to size, quality, or skill.
Examples:
Impressive performances. An impressive array of facts. The budget reduction was an impressive feat for our nation.
Appall:
To shock or disgust, to fill with dismay.
Examples:
Appall the tourists. Appall me. The news of the massacre appalled the entire nation.
Largely:
Virtually entirely, to a large degree.
Examples:
Largely accepted. Largely mitigate the issue. Nevada is largely a desert state.
Gender:
The range of characteristics of femininity and masculinity and differentiating between them, especially when considering social and cultural differences rather than differences in biology.
Examples:
Gender-blind policies. Dual gender. Cultural norms strongly influence gender expectations.
Specific:
Clearly defined or particular to a certain thing or situation, distinct, explicit, and precise.
Examples:
Specific instructions. Industry-specific regulations. The scientist conducted a study that provided specific details about the species' behavior.
Medical:
Relating to the treatment of illness or injuries, relating to the practice of medicine.
Examples:
A medical opinion. Temporary medical treatment. The medical team worked quickly to save the patient's life.
Demonstrate:
To display something or give an exhibition to an interested audience.
Examples:
Demonstrate a difference. Demonstrate mastery. How can you demonstrate that the Earth is a sphere?
Reproductive:
Connected with the process of reproduction, relating to reproducing babies, young animals, or plants.
Examples:
Reproductive ability. During reproductive period. This documentary deals with the reproductive biology of the buffalo.
Medicinal.
Of or relating to the treatment or cure of disease.
Examples:
Medicinal chemistry. Traditional medicinal. The medicinal properties of this herb have been known to help with various ailments.
Crisis.
A time of great disagreement, confusion, or danger when problems must be resolved or critical decisions must be taken.
Examples:
Financial crisis. Crisis management. The Chinese word for crisis comprises two characters, one for danger and the other for opportunity.
Invoke.
To call upon or request help or support, especially from a higher power. To mention or use something as a reason or justification for actions or decisions.
Examples:
Invoke memories. Invoke the right to remain silent. The politician invoked the name of the founding fathers in his speech.
Foundation.
The lowest load-bearing part of a building, typically below ground level, a fundamental basis or principle upon which something is built or established, an organization that provides funding or support for charitable or educational purposes.
Examples:
Foundation course. Weak foundation. The foundation of the building was cracked and needed to be repaired.
Poet.
A person who writes poetry.
Examples:
A court poet. A poet of sorts. She is a talented poet who has been recognized for her work.
Tragic.
Causing great sadness or suffering, very unfortunate.
Examples:
Tragic love stories. Tragic death. The tragic events of the war left many families torn apart.
Hilarious.
Extremely funny.
Examples:
Hilarious mistake. A hilarious anecdote. The comedian's stand-up routine was hilarious.
Diminish.
To reduce or be reduced in size, extent, or importance. To make something smaller, weaker, etc.
Examples:
Diminish a reputation. Diminish swelling. As people get old, their energies may diminish.
Distill.
To purify or refine, to extract the essential elements.
Examples:
Distill a liquid. Distill information. She decided to distill her thoughts into a more manageable list. To To make a great effort to do something when it is difficult, or there are a lot of problems, to use force or violence to break away from restraint or constriction.
Examples:
struggle against discrimination, struggle to get the job. He could not struggle against temptation.
Enormity.
The quality of being extremely evil or wicked, the vastness of size or extent.
Examples:
grasp the enormity. The enormity of the task. The enormity of the financial fraud was uncovered after years of investigation.
Shuffle.
To move or mix around in a casual or unorganized way, to walk with short, dragging steps.
Examples:
shuffle deck. Shuffle from side to side. She shuffled the cards before dealing them to the players.
Stoop.
To bend forward and downward from the waist, often to pick something up or gain a better view, to lower oneself morally or socially.
Examples:
stoop forward in the chair. Stoop to conquer. I had to stoop down to pick up the coin that had rolled under the couch.
Exchange.
To give something and receive something else in return, often with the implication that the items being traded are of equal or comparable value. Noun, the act of giving or taking something in return for something else, a place or system where goods or services can be bought, sold, or traded.
Examples:
exchange rate. Exchange a few friendly words. My sister and I frequently exchange books as we love reading.
Wry.
Using or expressing dry or ironic humor, often with a twisted or distorted facial expression.
Examples:
wry observation. Wry smile. I couldn't help but grin at his wry sense of humor.
Recognition.
The action or process of recognizing or being recognized, especially by remembering, an agreement that something is true or legal.
Examples:
recognition award. Joint recognition. He was given recognition for his outstanding work in the field of medicine.
Spirit.
The part of a person which is the seat of their mind, feelings, and character rather than their physical body, the general atmosphere of a place or situation, and the effect that it has on people.
Examples:
spirit and the letter of the law. An indomitable spirit. Despite their tragic loss, the family is showing great spirit.
Irritating.
Causing annoyance, frustration, or exasperation, provoking impatience or irritation.
Examples:
irritating noise. Irritating behavior. The garbage can in the kitchen has been producing an irritating smell for days.
Swallow.
To make food, drink, pills, etc., Pass down your throat into your stomach. Noun, small long-winged songbird noted for swift, graceful flight and the regularity of its migrations.
Examples:
Swallow a handful of pills. A swallowtail. I swallowed my anger and kept quiet.
Shrink.
To become smaller, or to make something smaller in size or amount.
Examples:
Shrink the tumor. Shrink with fear. This shirt will shrink in the wash.
Loom.
To appear or take shape as a large, especially in a frightening way.
Examples:
Loom over the global economy. Loom on the horizon. The issue of divorce loomed large in his mind.
Tilt.
To incline or bend from a vertical position. Noun, the act of inclining or the state of being inclined or leaning to one side.
Examples:
On the tilt. Tilt a chair. She tilted her head to the side, indicating she was listening.
Yield.
The total output of crops, profits, etc. that are produced. Verb, to produce or supply helpful something, such as a profit, an amount of food, or information.
Examples:
Corn yield. The yield on the bond. The company's stock gives a high yield.
Wrestling.
A sport in which two contestants grapple and try to throw each other to the ground.
Examples:
Wrestling match. Arm wrestling. He had always been interested in sumo wrestling and decided to try it.
Colossal.
Extremely large and impressive.
Examples:
Colossal statue. A colossal success. The new building is truly colossal, towering over the surrounding buildings.
Patience.
The ability to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity, delay, or frustration. The capacity to tolerate or endure difficult or unpleasant situations without becoming upset or angry.
Examples:
Test my patience. Show patience. Healing a broken heart requires patience, as it takes time to heal.
Handwriting.
The particular way in which a person writes, as distinct from printing or typing.
Examples:
Handwriting identification. Handwriting sample. The handwriting on the note was barely legible.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. Extremely large.
Examples:
Incredible amount. At incredible speed. Her response revealed incredible idiocy.
Mystic.
Having spiritual powers or qualities that are beyond ordinary understanding, Noun, someone who believes in the existence of realities beyond human comprehension.
Examples:
Mystic teaching. Medieval mystic. He is interested in the mystic rites of that religion.
Serene.
Calm, peaceful, and untroubled, free from disturbances or worries.
Examples:
Serene landscape. A serene atmosphere. The serene sunset over the ocean was a peaceful sight to behold.
Glimmer.
A flash of light, especially unsteady or reflected light, a slight sign of something.
Examples:
Without a glimmer of truth. Give a glimmer of light. There is, however, a glimmer of hope.
Visible.
Capable of being seen or open to easy view.
Examples:
Visible stars. Visible by X-ray. My home is easily visible from the shore.
Accustomed.
Familiar with, used to, in the habit of, having become habituated to something, often a behavior or situation.
Examples:
Accustomed routine. Accustomed to complaints. I am accustomed to waking up early for work.
Merciless.
Showing no pity or compassion, cruel or without mercy, harsh and unforgiving.
Examples:
Merciless criticism. A merciless killer. The merciless dictator ruled with an iron fist, showing no mercy to those who opposed him.
Presence.
The fact or state that someone or something exists, occurs, or is present.
Examples:
The evidence of the presence. His majestic presence. The path to a solid online presence necessitates a high technical ability.
Ignore.
To intentionally not listen or pay attention to.
Examples:
Ignore her advice. Ignore a ban. Since independence, the area has been completely ignored.
Drown.
To die or cause to die by being unable to breathe underwater.
Examples:
Drown in a bath. I was drowned in work. Floods have the potential to drown any subsurface animals easily.
Clutter.
To fill a room or place with so many items that it becomes messy.
Examples:
In a clutter. Clear desk clutter. He accused the tenants of leaving clutter and breaking the security camera.
Gesture.
A movement of the hands, head, or face that express a particular meaning.
Examples:
Gesture of goodwill. Hand gesture. She made a facial gesture to express disagreement.
Intention.
Something you want to do and are going to do.
Examples.
Intention behind his decision. Clear intention. Our CEO's intentions are always transparent and straightforward.
Conscious.
Being aware of and able to respond to what is happening around you.
Examples.
Conscious effort. Conscious of having succeeded. He became conscious that he was being followed.
Automatic.
Able to work or operate with little or no direct human control, independent of external control.
Examples.
Automatic operation. The automatic shrinking of the pupils. In passenger aircraft, it is common to use an automatic pilot during cruising.
Spot.
A particular location or place, a small round or roundish area, differing in color or feels from the surface around it.
Examples.
Beauty spot. A spot on his honor. This remote spot is rarely visited.
Provocation.
Action or speech that intentionally causes someone to become angry, irritated, or frustrated, a reason or motive for something, often negative or undesired.
Examples.
Provocation tactics. Verbal provocation. The politician's speech was seen as a provocation to the opposition party.
Poke.
To push or prod with a sharp object or the finger.
Examples.
Poke around the desk. Poke a fire. They poked fun at each other's jokes, laughing and teasing.
Sleeve.
A part of a garment that covers all or part of an arm.
Examples.
A wide sleeve. Sleeve length. He rolled up his sleeves to get ready to work.
Balance.
A condition in which everything has the same weight or force, something left after other parts have been taken away.
Examples.
The balance of power. Asset on the company's balance sheet. Try to keep a balance between work and off.
Curb.
To restrain, limit, or control something. To reduce or put a stop to something undesirable. Noun, the raised edge or barrier along the edge of a street, road, or sidewalk.
Examples.
Curb appetite. Curb anxiety. He tried to curb his anger during the argument with his friend.
Negotiate.
To have formal discussions with someone to reach an agreement.
Examples.
Negotiate a settlement. Negotiate the price of the house. We are always happy to negotiate a discount.
Modest.
Having or showing a humble estimate of one's merits, importance, etc., free from vanity, egotism, boastfulness, or great pretensions.
Examples:
Modest income. Only a modest fee. Despite his many achievements, he remained modest and down to earth.
Valor.
Courage or bravery, especially in the face of danger or adversity, heroic qualities or actions.
Examples:
Valor in war. Show valor. The soldier was awarded a Medal of Valor for his heroic actions in combat.
Suspect.
To consider anything to be true or probable.
Examples:
Suspect a plot. Suspect that he is sick. The cops suspected him of being the killer.
Intimate.
Having a very close friendship, personal.
Examples:
My intimate affairs. Intimate relationship. He has an intimate knowledge of American history.
Fierce.
Severe and violent in a way that is frightening.
Examples:
Fierce competition. A fierce animal. The fierce thunders echoed across the plain.
Metaphysics.
The branch of philosophy that deals with the fundamental nature and the first principles of reality, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, identity, time, and space.
Examples:
Metaphysics study. The nature of metaphysics. Kant's thoughts provided the foundational ideas for treating metaphysics as a discipline.
Relentless.
Persistent and determined, continuing despite difficulties or setbacks.
Examples:
Relentless attack. Face relentless pressure. The athlete's relentless training paid off in the end.
Understate.
To represent something as less important or significant than it is. To downplay or make something seem less dramatic or intense.
Examples:
Understate the cost. Deliberately understate. He tends to understate his abilities and needs to give himself more credit.
Exert.
To put forth effort, to put into action, to bring into play.
Examples:
Exert control. Exert influence. He exerted himself to lift the heavy weight.
Stupendous.
Extremely impressive, astonishing, or remarkable, of a size or degree that is difficult to comprehend or imagine.
Examples:
Stupendous achievement. Stupendous view. The fireworks display was stupendous, lighting up the entire sky with vibrant colors.
Insignificant.
Of little importance, influence, or power.
Examples:
Insignificant amount. An insignificant mistake. He made me feel small and insignificant.
Stiff.
Not easily bent, flexible, or pliable, difficult to move or be maneuvered, difficult to relax, having a heavy or formal manner.
Examples:
Stiff muscles. Stiff penalty. Her body felt stiff after sitting at her desk for hours without moving.
Resolve.
To find a suitable answer to the problems or difficulty.
Examples:
Resolve a dispute. Resolve the computer error. This company resolves its battery problem completely.
Mask.
To conceal something, noun, a covering that you wear over your face to hide it.
Examples:
Mask body odor. An oxygen mask. The politician tried to mask the corruption.
Placid.
Calm, peaceful, undisturbed, not easily upset or agitated, showing little excitement, enthusiasm, or emotion.
Examples:
Placid lake. Placid demeanor. The placid atmosphere of the park made it a great place to read or relax.
Immense.
Extremely large or great.
Examples:
Immense amount. Immense pressure. He left his wife an immense fortune.
Unbending.
Not willing to change one's opinions or behavior, not able to bend or be bent without breaking.
Examples:
Unbending policy. Unbending principle. His unbending stance on the issue caused him to lose support.
Grace.
A quality of being pleasing, especially in appearance or manner, a temporary exemption, especially an extended period granted as a special favor, a short prayer of thanks before a meal.
Examples:
Say a grace. End of the grace period. The old oak tree stood with grace and majesty in the park center.
Don.
A Spanish gentleman, a university lecturer, especially a senior member of a college at Oxford or Cambridge.
Examples:
The Don of the University. Don Giovanni. He could never go against what Don Carlos said.
Brain.
The organ inside the head that is responsible for one's movement, thought, memory, and feeling.
Examples:
Basic brain function. Permanent brain damage. X-rays revealed a small tumor in his brain.
Skip.
To move along lightly and quickly, making a step from one foot to the other with a hop or bounce, to intentionally fail, to do something which would normally do. Skip across the country. Skip breakfast. We skipped the topic because it was too complicated.
Reassure.
To cause someone to feel sure, to give or restore confidence.
Examples:
Reassure anxious patients. Reassure market. The pilot tried to reassure the customers that the planes were safe.
Religion.
A deep conviction in a supernatural power that controls human destiny.
Examples:
Religion sociology. Freedom of religion. Their religion strictly prohibits them from drinking or gambling.
Universal.
Existing or affecting everywhere or everyone.
Examples:
Universal life. Principles of universal design. The picture earned near universal acclaim from critics.
Donor.
A person or an organization that makes a gift of money, food, supplies, etc. to a cause or fund. In medicine, a person who gives blood or tissue or an organ to be used in another person.
Examples:
A transfusion of donor blood. An unnamed donor. His body rejected the liver of the donor.
Kidney.
Either of a pair of small organs in the body that filter waste products, especially urea, from the blood and excrete them, and water in urine.
Examples:
An artificial kidney. Chronic kidney disease. The surgeon removed the healthy kidney from the donor.
Cornea.
The transparent layer at the front of the eye that covers the iris and pupil and helps to focus light onto the retina.
Examples:
Cornea transplant. Cornea damage. A scratched cornea can be very painful and may cause blurry vision.
Liver.
A large organ in the body, involved in many metabolic processes, such as detoxification of the organism and the synthesis of proteins.
Examples:
Liver disease. Fatty liver. The patient will undergo liver transplant surgery tomorrow.
Lung.
Either of the two organs in the chest that people and some animals use for breathing.
Examples:
Lung capacity. Do lung transplantation. He has terminal lung cancer.
Tissue.
An ensemble of similar cells of the animal or plant that together carry out a specific function.
Examples:
A facial tissue. Loss of muscle tissue. The researcher separated the nervous tissue for microscopic examinations.
Vein.
A blood vessel that carries blood from various parts of the body back to the heart, a mineral deposit or layer of rock that is contained within another rock formation.
Examples:
Spider vein. Collapsed vein. The nurse inserted the needle into the vein in his arm to draw blood.
Odd.
Strange or unexpected, not divisible by two.
Examples:
In an odd way. Odd behavior. His grandfather was an odd man.
Flatter.
To praise or compliment excessively, especially to gain favor or advantage. To deceive or mislead with excessive praise.
Examples:
Flatter my boss. Flatter myself. He flattered her with compliments, hoping to win her favor.
Drill.
A tool or machine used for making round holes or driving fasteners, a training or practice.
Examples:
The drill hit the well. Fire drill. Several military drill programs have become popular methods of exercise.
Trill.
To make a vibratory, quavering sound, often in singing or speech, by rapidly alternating between two different notes. Noun, a musical sound or vocalization produced by a rapid alternation between two adjacent pitches.
Examples:
Trill melodious song. The trill of a bird. The soprano singer's voice trilled with pure clarity, captivating the audience.
Blithe.
Light-hearted, carefree, and unconcerned, showing a casual or cheerful indifference to things that may cause concern or worry.
Examples:
Blithe manner. Blithe disregard. She had a blithe attitude toward her responsibilities, which caused her to miss important deadlines.
Slice.
A flat, often thin, piece of bread, meat, cheese, etc., that has been cut from a larger piece, a wound made by cutting.
Examples:
A slice of the company's revenue. Slice a tomato thin. The children complained because one slice of cake was slightly larger than the other.
Dice.
A small cube with each side marked with a different number of spots, from 1 to 6, used in gambling and some games.
Examples:
Dice game. Playing dice. He rolled the dice, hoping for a lucky outcome.
Slide.
To move or cause to move smoothly along a surface without interruption.
Examples:
Slide a card across the table. Slide a glance. If necessary, you can slide the front seats forward.
Scan.
To examine something hastily, with the eyes or with a machine, to get information.
Examples:
Scan the face of a man. Scan a document into PDF. She stood on the podium and scanned an audience.
Squint.
To look at something with half-closed eyes, especially when trying to see more clearly or in bright light. To consider or examine something with suspicion, doubt, or skepticism.
Examples:
Squint against the sun. Squint at the radar screen. I had to squint my eyes to read the small print on the menu.
Lens.
A transparent optical device with curved sides, used in an optical instrument that makes objects seem larger, smaller, clearer, etc. Metaphor: the basic thoughts or mindsets through which someone sees or understands the environment or situation.
Examples:
A convex lens. A lens with a wide angle. The photographer took this photo using a telephoto lens.
Uncover.
To remove the cover from something, to discover something previously unseen or hidden.
Examples:
Uncover a potential problem. Uncover the truth. He continued his investigation and soon uncovered another crime.
Hint.
An indirect suggestion, a slight but appreciable amount of something.
Examples:
Hint of trouble. Helpful hints. There was no hint of a problem.
Harvest.
Yields of plants in a single growing season, the period of the year when gathering occurs on a farm.
Examples:
A scanty harvest. Reap a harvest. During harvest, farmers are incredibly busy.
Clue.
An object, a piece of evidence, or some information that helps someone to find the answer to a problem, question, or mystery.
Examples:
A clue about the crime. A clue to the diagnosis. The police couldn't find a clue to her whereabouts.
Smear.
To spread or apply a substance thinly and unevenly over a surface, to slander or accuse someone falsely. Noun, a mark or blot made by smudging, typically a dirty or greasy one.
Examples:
Smear butter on bread. Smear of blood. The politician tried to smear his opponent's reputation with false accusations.
Stain.
To discolor, defile, or tarnish something. Noun, a discoloration or dirty mark on a surface that is difficult to remove.
Examples:
Stain the carpet. Red wine stain. The allegations of corruption stained her reputation, and she struggled to regain public trust.
Drain.
To empty or dry something by removing the liquid from it.
Examples:
Drain water from the swamp. Drain excess liquid. Push the button and let the water drain away.
Traverse.
To cross or move through a land or water area.
Examples:
Traverse the region. Traverse a vast extent of sea. Approximately 1,000 automobiles traverse the bridge every day.
Mushroom.
A type of fungus that grows on dead or decaying organic matter and typically has a stalk and an umbrella-shaped cap.
Examples:
mushroom spores, mushroom cultivation. The mushroom risotto was delicious, but I couldn't identify all the mushrooms in it.
Snail.
A slow-moving mollusk with a spiral shell that it uses to protect its body.
Examples:
snail mail, snail pace. The gardener found a snail slowly making its way through the lettuce patch.
Jellyfish.
A marine creature with a soft, jelly-like body and tentacles for stinging.
Examples:
spineless jellyfish, jellyfish sting. The beach was filled with hundreds of jellyfish, so swimming was not recommended.
Worm.
A long, thin creature with a soft and long cylindrical tube-like body, no limbs, and a lack of eyes.
Examples:
wiggly worms, can of worms. Worms help dispose of the food waste produced by humans.
Glow.
To give out a steady, strong light.
Examples:
glow a pale orange, glow golden the light. The sun was setting, and the sky glowed with beautiful colors.
Bioluminescence.
The production and emission of light by living creatures, such as glowworms, fireflies, etc.
Examples:
firefly bioluminescence, bioluminescence of biological sample. Certain squids acquire symbiotic bioluminescence by feeding on specific microorganisms.
Emit.
To give off or send out something such as light, heat, sound, gas, etc.
Examples:
emit a gamma ray, emit air pollution. During the unloading, the container box emits a clicking sound.
Infrared.
Relating to or denoting electromagnetic radiation with a wavelength just longer than that of red light but shorter than that of microwave radiation, used for sensing heat and for remote control.
Examples:
an infrared lamp, infrared radiation. The infrared camera revealed a hidden image on the surface.
Lucent.
Giving off or reflecting light, glowing, shining, translucent or clear in appearance.
Examples:
lucent crystals, soft lucent light. The sunset painted the sky in a lucent orange and purple glow.
Tragedy.
An event or situation causing great loss, misfortune, or destruction, a play or literature that deals with a severe and sad event and often ends with the death of the main character.
Examples:
A tragedy during work. The aftermath of this tragedy. Macbeth is a famous tragedy by Shakespeare.
Fluorescent.
Emitting or reflecting vibrant and vivid light, especially under ultraviolet light, describing a type of lamp or bulb that produces such light.
Examples:
Fluorescent bulb. Fluorescent material. The office installed new fluorescent lighting to save energy.
External.
Belonging to or situated outside of someone or something.
Examples:
External factors. External commerce. When a company discloses information to the market, an external auditor verifies them.
Illumination.
Light or source of light, the degree of visibility of your environment.
Examples:
Starry illumination. Indirect illumination. The skylight will give adequate illumination from above.
Distort.
To change something's shape, appearance, or sound so that it appears weird or unclear.
Examples:
Distort the facts. Distort the economy. Economists contend that taxes distort consumer behavior in general.
Gravity.
The force that attracts a body towards the center of the earth or towards any other physical body having mass, a manner that is solemn.
Examples:
The attraction of gravity. Preserve my gravity. The astronaut felt weightless in space due to the absence of gravity.
Galaxy.
An independent group of stars, interstellar gas, dark matter, etc., in the universe, bound together by gravity.
Examples:
Elliptic galaxy. A galaxy of famous actors. The Milky Way galaxy has numerous water-bearing planets.
Cluster.
A group of similar things or people close together, often forming a distinct mass or unit.
Examples:
Live in a cluster. A cluster of stars. A cluster of grapes hung from the vine.
Telescope.
A device like a tube in shape containing lenses used to magnify and observe distant objects.
Examples:
A binocular telescope. Look through a telescope. This facility has the largest astronomical telescope in the country.
Elongate.
To extend something in length, to lengthen, stretch out, or to make longer.
Examples:
Elongate muscles. Elongate a dress. The yoga instructor told us to elongate our spines during the practice.
Background.
The details of a person's social heritage, such as family, vocational or educational experience, past information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem.
Examples:
A background color. A criminal background. The company's hiring criteria emphasize personality, not a person's background.
Faint.
Not strong, clear, or vigorous, slight or weak.
Examples:
Faint memory. Faint aroma of roses. She heard a faint, nearly invisible scream.
Arc.
The shape of a portion of a circle or other curved line.
Examples:
The arc current. An arc of a circumference. A ball flew in a big arc.
Distant.
Far away in space, time, or where you are, far apart in relevance, relationship, or kinship.
Examples:
A distant memory. Distant ancestors. The sun set over the crest of distant hills.
Weave.
To make cloth, a carpet, a basket, etc., by repeatedly crossing a single thread through two sets of long threads at a right angle to them.
Examples:
Weave on a loom. Weave a story. The girl weaves a garland for her friend.
Unrequited.
Not returned or reciprocated, particularly regarding love or affection, not required.
Examples:
Unrequited feelings. Unrequited affection. Despite his best efforts, his love for her remained unrequited.
Dynamic.
Having a lot of energy, ideas, and enthusiasm and a strong personality, of or relating to dynamics, equals the branch of physics and engineering concerned with the forces that cause motions of bodies.
Examples:
A dynamic market. Dynamic person. The sprinter has a dynamic way of running.
Canvas.
To solicit or seek opinions, votes, or support from individuals, to examine or survey an area, group, or situation thoroughly. Noun, the act of gathering public opinion or support through discussions or surveys.
Examples:
Canvass 1,000 households. Political canvass. The campaign team went door to door to canvass voters before the election.
Spy.
A person who is employed or trained to observe or gather information in secret, often for military or political purposes. A person who secretly or illegally gathers information about a private individual or organization.
Examples:
Spy cameras. Digital spy tools. The government recruited a spy to gather information on a suspected terrorist cell.
Lurch.
To make a sudden, abrupt movement, to stagger or sway unsteadily. To experience a sudden change or reversal. Noun, a sudden, unsteady, or awkward movement or motion, often to one side or another.
Examples:
A lurch in the stock market. Lurch back and forth. The car suddenly lurched forward as we hit a pothole.
Provoke.
To stimulate or give rise to a particular reaction or have a particular effect.
Examples:
Provoke a disease. Provoke a reaction. Her behavior provoked a quarrel between the couple.
Pedestrian.
A person who is in the street, especially in an area where vehicles go.
Examples:
Pedestrian accident. Pedestrian safety. A pedestrian is an uncommon sight in this area.
Stare.
To gaze or look fixedly and intently at someone or something, often in a questioning, curious, or suspicious manner. Noun, a fixed, intense, and prolonged gaze or look.
Examples:
Stare blankly. Give a menacing stare. He couldn't help but stare at the beautiful sunset over the ocean.
Illogical.
Not making sense or not based on sound reasoning.
Examples:
Illogical argument. Illogical reasoning. His argument made no sense and was completely illogical.
Dent.
To make a depression or indentation in the surface of something. Noun, a depression scratched or carved into a surface.
Examples:
Dent removal. Dent his pride. He accidentally dented his car when he bumped into a tree.
Creature.
A living being, especially an animal.
Examples:
Creature of habit. Artificial creature. The deep-sea creature was unlike anything the scientists had ever seen before.
Extreme.
Very great in amount or degree.
Examples:
Extreme sports. Extreme weather events. Solar gravity creates extreme pressures and temperatures.
Excess.
An amount or quantity beyond what is acceptable, expected, or reasonable.
Examples:
Lose excess weight. An excess of exports. The road of access leads to the palace of wisdom.
Boring.
Lacking interest or excitement, tedious or dull.
Examples:
Boring work. Boring day. The lecture was so boring that many people fell asleep.
Dumb.
Lacking the power of speech, unable to speak, stupid, or lacking intelligence.
Examples:
Dumb creatures. Struck dumb. He made a dumb mistake and forgot to submit the report on time.
Blonde.
Of a light, yellowish brown or golden color, typically describing hair color, also spelled blonde, a female with such hair color.
Examples:
Blonde fuzz, ash blonde ringlet. She is a natural blonde and doesn't need to dye her hair.
Digress.
To move away from the main subject temporarily, especially in speech or writing.
Examples:
Digress into my personal opinions. Digress from the main subject. The professor always digresses when he gives a lecture.
Digression.
The act of straying or deviating from the main subject or topic in speech or writing, a temporary departure from the main point or narrative.
Examples:
Digression from the topic. Literary digression. During his presentation, the professor went off on a digression about the historical context of the topic.
Swift.
Happening, moving, or capable of moving quickly.
Examples:
Take swift action. A swift current of a river. Her voice was swift, yet ever the last words fell lingeringly.
Swivel.
To rotate or turn around a fixed point or axis, often used to describe the action of a chair or other similar object that can rotate horizontally. Noun, a fastening device that allows the thing fastened to it to rotate or turn around freely.
Examples:
Swivel 180 degrees around to face him. Swivel mechanism. I swivel my chair to face the window and enjoy the view.
Usher.
A person who shows people to their seats in a theater or church or who guides them through a building.
Examples:
Act as usher. Usher theater. The uniformed usher showed the guests to their seats.
Bulb.
A rounded underground storage organ of some plants from which the plant grows, the rounded part of a cylindrical structure, electric lamp consisting of a glass ball.
Examples:
Wet bulb thermometer. A lily bulb. The light bulb has burned out.
Radiance.
A shining, brilliant light or glow, a bright or effulgent quality, an aura or distinct energy that emanates from a person or object.
Examples:
Radiance of the sun. Facial radiance. The painting was full of vibrance and radiance, capturing the essence of the artist's talent.
Beacon.
A light or other visible object serving as a signal, guide, or warning.
Examples:
An aerial beacon. Beacon of hope. The lighthouse served as a beacon to guide ships safely into port.
Beckon.
To gesture or signal someone to come nearer or follow. To encourage or entice someone to do something. To seem attractive or desirable.
Examples:
Beckon with a hand. Beckon a taxi. The warm sun and gentle breeze beckoned us to spend the day outside.
Array.
A large group or collection of things or people, especially one that is impressive or attractive.
Examples:
A two-dimensional array. An array of troops. The customer on the internet has to choose one from a formidable array of products.
Sin.
The offense against a religious or moral law or against God.
Examples:
Forgive a sin. Sin of omission. Some overzealous environmentalists claim celebrities are committing carbon dioxide sins.
Drip.
To fall in drops or make it fall in drops. Noun, liquid or moisture that falls in drops.
Examples:
Drip liquid. Drip from the vicious wound. Water is dripping from the faucet.
Broad.
Very wide, general.
Examples:
Attract broad attention. A broad mind. He accumulated wealth across a broad spectrum of assets.
Hosta.
A genus of perennial plants that are commonly cultivated for their attractive foliage, typically large and often variegated or deeply textured.
Examples:
Ornamental hosta. Shade-loving hosta. I planted a beautiful hosta in my garden, adding a lovely greenery touch.
Unseen.
Not seen or noticed, not perceived.
Examples:
Unseen danger. An unseen force. The consequences of the pandemic remain unseen as scientists continue to research the virus.
Barefoot.
Without shoes or other foot coverings, wearing nothing on the feet.
Examples:
Barefoot walk. Barefoot fashion. The barefoot hiker enjoyed feeling the earth beneath their feet.
Slick.
Smoothly polished and shiny, cleverly and smoothly done, well organized and efficient.
Examples:
A slick operation. Slick design. The politician gave a slick speech, but it was full of empty promises.
Slate.
A flat piece of rock or stone that is typically used as a roofing or flooring material. A list of candidates for an election arranged in a specific order.
Examples:
Slate tile. Slate roof. We need to add more names to the slate of candidates for the upcoming election.
Slab.
A flat, rectangular piece of material, such as wood or concrete, often used to describe a large, heavy, or solid object or structure.
Examples:
A slab of chocolate. Marble slab. The construction workers poured a large slab of concrete for the foundation of the building.
Mint.
A place where coins, paper money, or metals are produced under government authority. Any north temperate plant of the genus Mentha with aromatic leaves and small mauve flowers.
Examples:
A mint of money. Mint flavor. The mint produces thousands of coins each day.
Scoop.
A tool for lifting or moving substances in bulk, typically using a concave or spoon-shaped end, a piece of news that is obtained or published before anyone else.
Examples:
A scoop of ice cream. Scoop of news. The company's marketing team worked hard to get the scoop on what their target audience wanted.
Fist.
A hand with the fingers clenched tightly into the palm to form a hard rounded shape, an act of striking someone or something with a fist.
Examples:
Tight fist. Raise a fist. The boxer clenched his fist before throwing a punch.
Moist.
Slightly wet, a state characterized by the presence of moisture or dampness.
Examples:
Moist soil. Moist climate. My hands felt moist and sweaty during the exam.
Grope.
To feel one's way by touching, typically because one cannot see.
Examples:
Grope after the truth. Grope for an answer. He was forced to grope in the dark for the light switch.
Shawl.
A piece of fabric or clothing worn as a covering or adornment around the neck, shoulders, or head, a wrap or cape-like garment.
Examples:
Shawl collar. Silk shawl. My grandmother wore her favorite knitted shawl to keep warm on the chilly autumn evening.
Vestibule.
A small entryway or antechamber between two larger rooms, a chamber or passageway leading into a larger building or structure.
Examples:
Vestibule doors. Vestibule area. The vestibule of the building was decorated with beautiful artwork.
Grenade.
A handheld explosive device designed to be thrown or projected toward a target and detonate upon impact or after a specified time.
Examples:
Grenade explosion. Smoke grenade. The soldier threw a grenade to destroy the enemy's bunker.
Shrill.
High-pitched and piercing in sound, loud, sharp, and harsh.
Examples:
Make a shrill noise. Shrill cry. The shrill sound of the whistle startled the entire crowd.
Blink.
To shut and open the eyes quickly, to gleam or glow in a regular or intermittent way.
Examples:
Blink his eyes. Blink in astonishment. He blinked in the dazzling sunlight.
Glare.
To shine with a bright, harsh, or dazzling light, to stare fiercely or angrily, often with a piercing or threatening gaze. Noun, a strong, bright, and often harsh or uncomfortable light that can be blinding or difficult to look at directly.
Examples:
The glare of the sun. Glare at my opponent. The sun glared down on us, making it difficult to see without squinting our eyes.
Soil.
The top layer of earth in which plants grow.
Examples:
Soils retentive of moisture. Parched soil. Soil moisture is another significant component controlling soil respiration.
Unnameable.
Impossible or difficult to describe or name, describing mysterious or indescribable qualities or experiences that defy easy explanation or categorization.
Examples:
Unnameable anxiety. Unnameable sensation. The protagonist in the novel suffers from an unnameable fear that haunts them throughout the story.
Melody.
A succession of musical tones forming part of a larger piece of music.
Examples:
A simple melody. The melody of a tune. This harmonious melody immortalized its composer.
Immeasurable.
Too great to be measured or calculated, vast or incalculable in extent or degree, impossible to quantify or express in numerical terms.
Examples:
Immeasurable joy. Immeasurable loss. The impact of climate change on the planet is immeasurable.
Density.
The quality of compactness of a substance.
Examples:
Population density. Higher pixel density. Do you know the density of the population in Hong Kong?
Blur.
A faint or indistinct image or sound, something that is not clear or distinct. Verb, to become unclear, to lose clear vision.
Examples:
Blur image. Motion blur. The camera's focus was off, and the image was a blur of colors and shapes.
Umber.
Having a dark or dull brown color, resembling the earthy pigment that is often used as a natural brown pigment.
Examples:
Umber color. Burnt umber. The artist used umber tones to create a warm and earthy atmosphere in the painting.
Tentative.
Done or said with hesitation or uncertainty, not certain or agreed, not definite or fixed, experimental or cautious in nature.
Examples:
Tentative conclusion, tentative agreement. The company announced tentative plans for a new product launch, but nothing is set in stone.
Cardinal.
A high-ranking official in the Roman Catholic Church, appointed by the Pope, a deep or bright red color, a bird of the finch family with a distinctive crest on its head, adjective, of or relating to the highest or most important things.
Examples:
Cardinal rule, cardinal red. The cardinal's robes were made of rich red silk.
Mourning.
The act or expression of sorrow or grief for someone who has died, a period of time set aside for such grieving.
Examples:
Mourning period, mourning ritual. She wore black clothing as a symbol of mourning for her grandmother.
Dive.
To jump into the water with your head and arms going in first, or to move down to a deeper level underwater.
Examples:
Dive into anime communities. Dive off a cliff. The sperm whale can dive to 1,000 meters.
Elegy.
A mournful, sorrowful, or melancholic poem or song written as a tribute or a lament for someone who has died or for a past era or experience that has passed away.
Examples:
Elegy poem, funeral elegy. The poet composed an elegy in memory of his deceased father.
Emerge.
To move out of or away from something and become visible.
Examples:
Emerge as a butterfly. Emerge from poverty. During colonial eras, new migratory patterns emerged.
Trail.
A path or track roughly through a countryside, mountain, or forest area, often made or used for a particular purpose. Verb, to lag or linger behind.
Examples:
A warm trail. Follow the trail. The storm left a trail of destruction behind it.
Shadow.
A dark area or shape cast by an object blocking the passage of light, an area in darkness or shade, a reflected image or copy of something, a person, activity, or influence that follows or accompanies someone or something closely and persistently, often in a secretive or ominous manner.
Examples:
Shadow cast. Shadow puppetry. The tree cast a shadow over the picnic area, providing relief from the sun.
Stir.
To mix a liquid or substance by using a spoon or something similar, to cause to be agitated, excited, or roused.
Examples:
Stir a sauce. Stir up controversy. Topics related to that war may stir up a political hornet's nest.
Dawn.
The time of day when the sun's light starts to show in the sky.
Examples:
The wan light of dawn. Crack of dawn. Missile assaults on the capital continued around dawn.
Gaudy.
Excessively flashy or ostentatious in a way that lacks good taste, showy in a vulgar or overly ornamental manner, characterized by loud, bright colors or excessive decoration.
Examples:
Gaudy furniture. Gaudy display. The curtains were made of gaudy fabric, clashing with the room's rest.
Stumble.
To miss a step and fall or nearly fall, to walk unsteadily.
Examples:
Stumble financially. Stumble through life. She stumbled over the tree root.
Curse.
A rude or offensive word or an expression that is not polite and shows that you are very angry.
Examples:
Under a curse. Few curse words. Many autocratic policies became a curse for that country's economy.
Unbearable.
Not able to be tolerated or endured, too difficult, severe, or intense to be dealt with or suffered through, intolerable or insufferable.
Examples:
Unbearable heat. Unbearable pain. The loss of his wife was an unbearable sorrow that he found hard to overcome.
Daylight.
The natural light produced by the sun during the day, especially in contrast to artificial light or darkness.
Examples:
Daylight hours. Natural daylight. The view of the city skyline from the top of the building looked amazing in the daylight.
Grieve.
To feel or show great sadness or sorrow, especially for someone who has died.
Examples:
Grieve for loss. Grieve at the sad news. She grieved the loss of her parents.